don't think I realized I was an addict until I got here. I did a timeline and realized what I thought was 10 to 15 years was more like since I was 15, and I'm 50 now, 51. Coming here has helped me realize an awful lot of my past, and so what brought me here, well, for a while I thought it was divine intervention, and it took about a 30-day program here, the initial 30 days to kind of clear my head enough to understand that my drinking had gotten to the point where I was drinking because I gave up. I had a lot of marital issues, I had a lot of personal issues. I ended up with what they call being 51-50 because I threatened to hurt myself. So I went into a psych ward for 72 hours. And the doctor felt it was necessary for me to stay an additional 72. And when I got out, I was doing outpatient, and the outpatient was not what I needed, and I knew that. So I started looking around, but then problems arose again, and the drinking got to the point where it was hidden. My husband would walk in the door at the end of the day, and I'd hand him a beer so that he wouldn't be able to smell it on me. An awful lot of things going on. I always had something in my cup after I've already had 3 DUIs and have done 60 days in jail. So there comes a time when you just kind of stop using your brain, is so I thought. One of the things I learned here was that I have almost like 2 brains, basically. I have one that's an addict and I have one that's normal. And the addict is the one, if I'm feeding it, is ferocious and it's mean, and it will take me and anybody around me down. I never understood that. I always thought I was different or special and I didn't fit in, so that was another reason for me to drink because I didn't really feel like I fit in anywhere. After I was released, like I said, I went to outpatient, and it wasn't doing me any good. I just kept drinking, and this was probably the 3rd time in the year. This was in June that I was hospitalized for throwing up a tremendous amount of blood. I needed 6 pints by the time I got to the hospital. I walked in the door and passed out cold on their floor. And there was this woman at the hospital who asked if she could pray with me, and I said, sure. She prayed with me for like 20 minutes. And I just cried. All I could do was cry. And she said, I've got paperwork for you about where you can get help, the process that she's supposed to go through, and I'll find you no matter where you are. And when she found me, she prayed again. So I was in the hospital from a Tuesday to Friday. I got out on a Friday, slept all day Saturday, and for whatever reason, I didn't remember that this woman had spoke to me until after 30 days here. For whatever reason, I just woke up thinking I needed to go to recovery and rehab, and I didn't know why I needed to do that. I made 3 phone calls, and everybody kept asking if I could hang on. And I didn't really know what I was supposed to hang on to or how long I was going to be able to do that. I was in bed, I was in the fetal position. They had so many IVs and stuff inside of me. I was just like raw, and it was horrible. And I happened to call Pacific Shores, and I refer to him as my angel. And I'll leave his name out, and you can put it in if you'd like to. But my angel answered the phone and said, I don't care, we'll take care of it later. Can you get here today? And I said yes. And I packed and drove here. And I just called family and said, hey, I'm going to rehab. And they were like, what? Except, of course, my mother, who said her prayers had been answered. And I got here, and I met a young lady who, she was sitting on the curb waiting for me. And the first thing out of my mouth, because I had been in tears, was, don't touch me, I don't like women. And so then I felt bad. So then I said, oh, okay, you can hug me. Now I apparently freely hug everybody who walks within 5 feet of me. About, like I said, 30 days in, I was able to go home for a couple hours to my house, and I was cleaning, and I found this stack of papers that the lady at the hospital had given me. And I was overwhelmed. I was just overcome because there's a nurse here, and I always thought she reminded me of somebody, and I couldn't put my finger on it, but it was that lady. And I remember starting my steps here, which was an amazing experience, finding a sponsor, starting my steps. And, you know, I got to the doctor who decided to keep me another 72 hours, and I was like, oof, I hate him, oof. And my sponsor looked at me and said, sweetheart, he saved your life. An angel was following. He had like a pack following you around, waiting, and it was beautiful. I've lost a total of 90 pounds. 20 of that was fluid taken off my stomach. I was taken to the hospital the third day I was here to make sure that I was healthy, and they were able to drain my stomach, and it hasn't come back. Yeah, that first day was a little hard getting up and moving, but it was important because it was either that or wallow in my own self-pity. So I started participating, and one day I was just woke up grumpy, and my case manager, Jerry Lynn, said to me, I thought it was weird. She didn't come after me and ask what was wrong, and later on during the day she kind of walked by and said, hey, I want you to know I have noticed that you're not feeling all that great, but I also want you to know that we all have bad days. Not everything's going to be good, and so you just kind of have to deal with it. And I thought, oh, feelings, okay. I learned a lot that my therapist here is, like, honestly, if I could take the therapist and the cook and the case manager and the nurse home with me, I would. My therapist has me laughing all the time, finding parts of me that I did not even know existed, and cleverly drawing them on the board and making sure I get a copy of it so that I can remember. I have started, like I said, found a sponsor, started my steps. I've moved through the different steps of the program here. The food is amazing. That was awesome. I really needed that at first because I didn't realize I stopped eating because I drank instead of ate. You know, I think the second or third night I was here, I had an absolute overwhelming panic attack and ran down the stairs, and there was a young man down there, and he was just like, it's okay, gave me a notebook, gave me a pen, had me start writing, and I wrote myself right back to sleep. But I've been able to go to the beach, I've been able to do yoga, I've been able to try different things besides the 12 steps. I've been able to try things that I would have never done before. Go-kart racing, not on my list at my age, but I really enjoyed it. They've taught me how to do things sober that I never in a million years thought I would have fun doing unless alcohol was involved. But I have learned that, you know, and if I have a problem, I've learned to process it. I've learned how to ask people what their opinions are. And I've learned to trust my intuition again, because for a long time it was messed up, but now my intuition is getting better and clearer every day. I have 90 days sober as of yesterday, and you know, yesterday we're floating in the pool here. We had a big barbecue. Everybody contributed and cooked something that you know that was home to them. And one of the staff members came up and said, isn't this amazing that we can have this much fun without drugs or alcohol involved? And everybody kind of got quiet for a second because we had not even realized that we were having fun without drugs and alcohol. Besides the staff though, the patients here, the clients have been great. You know, I've been able to use some of them as people in my life that I've had challenges with, and I've been able to learn how to overcome it and have good, peaceful conversations with them, which allows me to do that when I go home. I've also learned how to slowly progress and go back home, and so that I can, because little things about me have changed that I didn't realize. The way I eat has now changed. I work out 4 or 5 times a day, or week, sorry, not a day. And I really love it. I moved my gym membership that I got here over there. I didn't have to get a gym membership here, but it really made me feel better. I've learned that when I have that unusual feeling, I need to get to a meeting. I need to call somebody. I need to reach out, and it's okay. And that those two parts of my brain I mentioned earlier, as long as I feed the good and not the bad, it's a wonderful experience. And I wish that everybody would be able to have that.